Good evening, and thank you for tuning in to Cosmic Blueprints, the wonderful show hosted by none other than the magnanimous Tony Z. Tony, how are you tonight, my friend?
Not too bad, Kate. Yeah, not too bad at all. How about yourself?
Oh, pretty good. A bit damp over this end, but I do like the fact that it's raining. It's far easier to shovel. You can shovel this with the blow dryer. It's pretty good.
That's it. Easier than snow.
A lot lighter.
I bet it's a lot easier to shovel, but I love when I call in and talk to you and see the snowflakes falling. It's just so pretty.
Yeah, well, it's pretty. You know how I spell snow, right? S-H-I-T. Snow. S-H-I-T.
Yeah.
Frozen kind. So I guess we're just waiting for Santo to join us as well, and we have Jole. Hope I said that right. Joining us tonight, and I know just based on past shows with Tony, seems to have this knack of pulling these wonderful guests out of the ether, and I think tonight's going to be another one of those wonderful pull out of the ether nights. So I'm anticipating it anyway. It should be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Ole's done a lot of work on the elitists and basically the modus operandi of the elites to carry out false flag and terror attacks. And he's written a book on it. He tried to publish it for 11 years. Nobody would touch it with a 5 pole. Sorry?
15 years.
It's actually 15.
Yeah, that sounds a whole lot more reasonable given the system we get to play around with.
Excellent. Well, hello, Ole. Welcome to Cosmic Blueprints tonight. How are you?
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Yeah, awesome to have you. I know the voice is a little confusing, Ole. I'm a two-spirit, so don't be confused.
I'm not confused at all, as long as you're not.
Yeah, the picture and voice do not match. Anyway, we have Santos in, too. There we go. I'm just going to let you guys rip, Tony. This is your night, so have at her, friend.
Yeah, well, I was doing a little bit of research. In fact, a friend of mine sent me, in fact, it was Richard Cumbers sent me a link and said, you need to check this guy out. He's actually quite switched on. Go and have a look. So I hope you don't mind me talking about you in the second part there, Ali. But
go for it.
Excellent. Well, he sent me the link to Red Ice Creations, which was a wonderful interview. Whereby Ollie sort of like explained what was going on and how he got to the point of realization. But of course, there's no point in me trying to explain somebody else's story while we've got the man himself here. So, Ollie, can you explain for us, for the viewers?
I can't do that. Well, I don't know where to start.
Yes, Ollie, explain yourself, will you?
I will indeed.
Perfect.
No, I think it started when I was a kid, when I remember the day when Kennedy was shot and the impact, the emotional impact it made on my family and so on. And also the missile crisis and the whole tension that was around it, and that sort of followed me. And then when I grew up, I remember I got stuck the first time I saw the Zapruder film, and from then on, when I noticed that something really fishy is going on here, I started becoming very obsessed with trying to understand what had really happened. So I think I must have read like a couple of 100 books about the JFK assassination. And then the more I was looking into that, then I became interested in the Robert Kennedy as well, and Martin Luther King and Abraham Lincoln and so on. And after a while, I started to see it was like there was almost like a template of how, even though the circumstances around these assassinations are different, the template is more or less the same, especially when it comes to the cover-up. And in the meantime, the Swedish Prime Minister had been murdered. He was shot down in February 1986. And I, like everybody else in Sweden, thought that we were living in a beautiful, democratic, white country where everybody was honest, and the police, you could trust the police, and like a white island in the ocean of the rest of the world. and we were told that it was a lone crazy guy that had shot him and disappeared. And I thought, well, horrible that it happened, but thank God we got the Swedish police, and for sure they're going to sort it out right away. But then after a little while I started seeing that more and more weird things started appearing, and more very obvious lies, and then 6 months down the road, one day I just started seeing, my God, it's almost like they're following this template, like this bullet point list that the other assassin has been following. So after a while, I was able to predict how the Swedish investigation, what they were going to do within the next 2-3 weeks. You know, I just checked the list. How did they do with the JFK? How did they do with Robert Kennedy, and so on? And then I could just foresee. And when that actually happened, that really freaked me out, because then I understood that something really bad has happened here. And from then on, I got obsessed about finding out what actually happened in Sweden. And then, the more I dug, I left my job. I moved to Stockholm and started working as a bus driver, just to be able to be up there where it happened. And I was just day and night trying to find out and track down witnesses and policemen, and in the end I also tracked down even secret agents that was involved in it, and mercenaries and assassins, and it just turned Sweden into a totally different country than I thought I grew up in. So, well, that's a little background.
Yeah, it's a bit of a paper trail, isn't it? You find one bit and you think, nah, that can't be right, and then you find another and go, no, it still can't be right, and then a third and a fourth, and then you find out, my God, it's the same pattern with all of them.
The thing was that I had no idea how big it was when I started. I mean, I was really, really into this for about 15 years, and I just collected all of these pieces of puzzles, and it was just like making a jigsaw puzzle, but with the picture side down. So I didn't know what was going to come out of it. I just managed to fit the pieces together. And just like you say, the more you dig into it, you just get to a higher and higher level. I'm not meaning spiritual level, the other way around. You get to up and up and up in the corridors of power. And in the end, well, I'm sure you guys know it, that it doesn't really matter what so-called terror attack or assassination on that level that you look into, you always come back to the same group.
Yeah, it gets to the point where you know, here we go again, and you don't even need to. Yeah, it's automatic, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't even, like this Sandy Hook and stuff like, I don't even bother looking into it, because right away when you see it, and then what follows, right away, well, here we go again. So
yeah, absolutely. Like you said, I like your analogy of putting it together with the pieces upside down, so you can't see the picture until you've actually put the pieces in. It's just like, well, what's this piece and what's that bit, and that, oh look, that fits there and this fits there, and it's only when you turn it over and you see the picture, when all those pieces are connected together, that's when the penny drops, and that's shock horror time, isn't it?
I tell you, I was like I had done so much investigation and so on, but it felt like I was only coming to a certain level, and then all the points, I felt that they were pointing towards the same point of a pyramid almost, but I could never figure it out where they were going. It was just pointing out like in a fog. And then I think it was in 89 or 1990, I met David Icke, who came for the first time to Stockholm. And there was I think there was only about 80 people there who came to listen to him. And after listening to 1 hour of his talk there, it was just like, it just cleared for me. It was an amazing hour for me, because suddenly all these things were pointing. I could see where they were pointed, and once I got the bigger picture, I was able to connect the pieces great moment for me.
Yeah, and penny drops, so to speak, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But
Well,
yeah.
I was going to say, it's almost like a criminal merry-go-round, and I'm just wondering when people are going to finally get off this ride, and start seeing things for what's really going on. And it's the work that you're doing that helps bring this to the table. So greatly appreciated, and we now count in the millions. I've gone beyond the hundreds of thousands. I know we're well into the many millions around the planet. They're wide awake and quite tired of it.
I tell you, I feel strongly that there's such an awakening going on, because when I started with this, I was looked upon as being totally crazy and totally weird, and well, I'm sure you all experienced the same. But now people are so open and so interested and so willing to hear about it, and so the times are totally different.
Yeah,
and also, in my opinion, about time as well. I mean, my God, how many times do you have to repeat the same thing before you wake up? I don't get it.
Yeah. And don't be shy, Santo. Jump in, and Cindy as well, eh?
Yeah, I'd like to add to Ole's comparison. I mean, I'd like to compare how he stumbled into this world and it blew him away. Ole, you felt that Sweden was, safe and all of this stuff. The same thing happened here in Australia. Like in the late 80s, there was we had a massacre. It was called the Queen Street Massacre in the heart of the city of Melbourne, just one block from where I play my guitar. And some guy had a gun, and it was mind controlled. It was a government job, and then he threw himself off the building. But obviously there were other gunmen there. They killed him, made him look like a deranged, disgruntled post office worker. So he went around killing his colleagues in the post office or something like that. Then there was the Hoddle Street massacre, and then we had the big famous one in 95, or 96 rather, in Port Arthur, Tasmania. 35 people were gunned down. Now, I interviewed someone about that a couple of weeks ago on American Freedom Radio. He named the Mossad person, Benjamin his name was, who actually did that job, along with the CIA and several other CIA operatives that were murdered on that day. They were sort of extras that weren't needed, in the end. But same thing happened here, Ole. It's interesting, and it woke my eyes up to discover that John Howard, the then Prime Minister of Australia, was the one who allowed that job to occur, so that the Swiss banksters could get rid of our guns, because within weeks, surprise, surprise, John Howard had all of this anti-gun legislation written up, and he had it passed through, and Australians lost their guns. So we see the hand of the banksters, the criminals behind the governments that feed them money, and turn them into slaves, and therefore we ourselves too, I guess. Yeah.
Yes, I totally agree here. Coming from, I live in the United States, and I actually happen to be just a few blocks north of the Alfred P. Murrah building in downtown Oklahoma City, 1995, April 19th. And it blew up in front of my face. And I managed a pet store on the north side of the town that we serviced all the aquariums that were in that building, and it really hit home big time. I saw, at that point in time, I saw the community in Oklahoma just come together immensely it was so fast, and a couple of years went by, and I was still fast asleep at that time. I had no idea what was going on, what's really going on. And then later moved to Baton Rouge, Louisiana, and endured several tragedies there, and was there when 9/11 happened, and still asleep, not really knowing what was really going on. And it wasn't until I came to California and got to know people like Santo Bonacci, and I was involved in several groups on Facebook and just came across video after video, and I woke up pretty quick. And I see the same pattern, and it's just, I don't know. All I can say is it's a wonderful thing that so many people are waking up to what is really going on and seeing through it, so that when instances like Sandy Hook happen, you like you said, you know right away, here we go again. So.
It's just I think it's like if you look at a magician, as long as you don't know how he does the trick, you're intrigued, you still fall for it. But as soon as you know what he's doing, you're not buying it anymore. And this
you
is
roll your eyes.
Exactly.
This is with these false flag things as well. As soon as you see how they do it, you notice right away. Whoop 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 whoop. And you can always tell by not so much what happened, but what happens afterwards. The problem, reaction, solution. When the solution is presented right away, you know that now they're going to do this, and boom, there it comes. They demand you to put down your weapons or whatever it is they want to accomplish. So and also how the investigation, the normal investigation, is like. If I now take a rock and throw into a window in downtown Stockholm, within 2 minutes, I know the police would take me, There would be police cars and stuff like that. But when you shoot the Prime Minister, there's nothing happening for 5-6 hours, Yeah. So it's so obvious.
Yeah. Again, with the Diana thing as well, Lady Di.
Diana as well, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, there's lots of different examples of this in the book. I wonder if you could just run through a quick list of them.
In the book?
Indeed, yeah.
Well, it's the thing is that they're so interconnected. I mean, there's even personal contacts between who committed the assassination in Stockholm '86 with the people who did in Dallas. Like. One of the guys that I think I managed to track down every member in the hit team. And is it okay if I name names? Are you okay with that?
Oh, we'd be pissed off if you didn't.
Yeah.
No, we're about getting the word out, my friend. There is no fear on any of our shows, so please feel free to name the criminals, please. Thank you.
Okay.
Name away.
Name away. No, because what I've found with all of these assassinations is that normally what they do is they have a prepared patsy where all the evidence is prepared to get the guy afterwards. They got their own investigation on standby, meaning that as soon as the shots are fired, boom, in goes their own investigation, pushing away all honest, normal police men and stuff like that. And the mechanics or the assassins who do the job, who are not aware of where the order comes from, they're very often in small groups, compartmentalized, only connected with radio and with code names, so they don't even know the whole picture either, the people doing it. But these people are normally brought in from different countries, different groups. I've seen one way they do it here in Europe. They take it from the Gladio network, the Stay Behind network. You're familiar with that in the States, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and so it's on the surface you would never be able to see that these people are connected, but they are under the surface, sort of. And in the case of the Palme assassination, there was a bunch of South African agents There was one American hitman, Michael Townley. There was one Italian called Stefano Della Chiai, also called the Baron of Terror. There was a Norwegian mercenary called Ole Christian Olstad. There was some very right-wing Swedish policeman who was taking care of the logistics on site, and also supplying with weapons and walkie-talkies and all of these things. But this Michael Townley, he was, I think he's very interesting in one way. What he did was he was driving one of the escape cars. There was 3 escape cars, but one of his friends was David Atlee Phillips. Do you know David Atlee Phillips, who was Lee Harvey Oswald's station chief in Mexico City, and also later the chief of the Western Hemisphere for the CIA operations. So you got a direct link between them. He was also, Michael Townley was also the guy who placed the bomb under, what's his name, Letelier, the guy in Washington that was blown up, Orlando Letelier, I think his name was that, who was one of Olof Palme's friends as well. And that bomb was supplied by Orlando Bosch, who was also involved in the Kennedy assassination. He was one of the, he did like hundreds and hundreds of terror attacks on the orders of Bush Sr. And he was also pardoned after he had been put in jail for that. But he was one of the guys who took care of the safe house in Dallas where Ruby and the other guys met in preparation. So there are direct links even between these 2 hits, even though they're like 30 years in between, which I find is interesting.
Yeah.
Again, that doesn't surprise me in the regard that a lot of these individuals, beyond being relatives, the families and the groups that they associate with and connect to are all interconnected as well, and they do like to keep it in the family.
Yeah.
So there's no surprise there. It's intergenerational. It's they'll have kids and raise them to carry on in their footsteps. So yeah,
and
no
also with the assassins themselves. I mean, they keep this a top team with the best of the best, and they just use them everywhere. So they keep popping up It's like the same with the John Lennon assassination. The guy who actually shot him wasn't Hinckley. It was the doorman. His name was Jose Perdomo. I don't know if you heard of him, but he was when he shot him, he was standing to the left when Lennon entered. They left, Yoko and him left the limo, and the doorman was standing to the left. Hinckley was standing to the right, and Lennon was shot from the left. That guy, he was in his 70s by then, but his name is Jose Perdomo. I'm sure you can find him on the internet somewhere. He used to be, for I think about 10 years, he was the chief of Operation 40. That was also part of the Kennedy assassination, Operation Mongoose and Operation 40. He was an exiled Cuban. That top killing team, or whatever you want to call it, Murder Incorporated, that was used to them. I mean, parts of that was also connected to the Iran-Contras. They were the Watergate burglary. They were the one who killed Che Guevara, Felix Rodriguez, and it just goes on and on. They just pops up everywhere.
Yeah, it's an organised crack team, isn't it, basically?
So Ole, are you saying the guy who killed Che Guevara is connected with the guy who killed Lennon, John Lennon, yeah?
Yeah, and also the Felix Rodriguez, he was very deeply involved with Iran-Contras as well, with Oliver North. He was one of the closest guys to Oliver North. And he was George Bush Sr.'s sort of like right hand when it came to many of these assassinations.
What have you discovered?
you can track it back all the way to the 60s when they were doing all kinds of, they were trying different, with Castro, and also like you find Michael Townley, he was also involved in when they got rid of Allende. All of these big ones, you very often find the same mechanics as well.
What have you uncovered about the very families who operate these corporations, and do this killing so that their corporations can continue to grow? Have you found any? Have you discovered who the families are in particular in Sweden and anywhere else?
I mean, I think if you look into the Bilderberg Group, the Council on Foreign Relations, the Trilateral Commission, the the Committee of 300, these people are in the center of these groups, and that's as far as I can see, all with the roots in Wall Street, and their hearts buried down way down below in the dark.
Oh yeah. These are definitely very, very dark, demonic families, folks. There's no joke. This is no joke. These families are vicious. They are absolutely vicious. They are disconnected from their divinity, and willfully so. They know what they're doing. They made a decision, and to the detriment of humanity, really. Humanity has suffered because of these families, but in the end it'll be to their detriment.
It feels like there's a massive bully, I think, a global bully that has just been bullying the rest of the world for a long time. A small group of people.
Yeah, they are a demonic force. Absolutely are a demonic force, and it's going to be dealt with very, very soon, because there's too much light. There's too much light now pouring down, and that light equates to consciousness. So look what's happening from day to day. People are just waking up. Me 10 years ago, I would have been knocking on your door trying to save you as a Jehovah's Witness.
Well, you had been welcome for 5 minutes at least.
Yeah, because you're friendly. But wouldn't have lasted 3 seconds at the other around the whole block. And that's good. I'm glad for that, because people don't buy into it anymore. We're waking up. We are waking up en masse. I've awoken. I recount my story many times. People know where I come from. I've only been on this path solidly for about 6 or 7 years now. Yeah, so but you've been studying this for years and years and years. So you see, credit to you. You've uncovered a lot of stuff, and to name those names, that's fantastic. That's what we need. Those names need to go up out into the ether. Everything needs to be exposed about the criminals that are doing this. We need to name these people, because those names will be heard by many ears, by the consciousness of the Creator, and they will be shamed. They will be put to shame when their names are known. You see, they're quite happy for their names not to be known. They are quite happy to work deeds, to operate deeds of darkness in the darkness, nameless, and so that they think that they can go to their grave, without anyone knowing all of their dark deeds, and because they decided to live in lust and to kill and to murder and to pillage. But they're not going to get away with it anymore. Now we know the names. And this is the model, this is the example that we should use going forward. I've done the same thing. I've named the names of people, that have done harm to humanity, at least to one soul. You harm one soul, that's enough. As Luther said, that any injustice any small injustice anywhere is an injustice everywhere.
Absolutely.
Do you know, for me personally, I've had 2 friends that was murdered in strange ways, and I've seen very strange suicides. I've seen people who were not involved in doing the assassination, but as witnesses and policemen and stuff, like, get their lives totally destroyed and ruined. But I really don't feel revenge or anger, or I just want them to stop it. Stop the madness. Yeah. It's enough.
Yeah.
Leave us alone. Let us turn this prison into a paradise. What it's meant to be. Because I truly believe that if this group stops fucking things up, it's going to turn into a beautiful, beautiful place, because it's, for such a long time, it's been so focused, this group has been so focused on destruction and violence and murder and killing and all of it. So people think that's the human nature. I don't think that at all. I think
absolutely not. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, I think the normal guy in Baghdad or Tehran or Washington or Berlin, I mean, let's have a beer, let's celebrate, let's be friends. Everybody just wants to have a good life, be with their family and friends, and prosper and have a good life. But this group has inflicted so much negative and brutal force on Mother Earth. So I just want them to stop it.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm trying to expose because they have been getting away with it for such a long time, because they have, just like you said, been able to do it from the shadows. Nobody has been understanding what's going on, but by exposing it, putting light there, they need to stop it. Because they won't get away with it anymore.
Well, brother, why don't we make this the best audio file that we can have, so that we can record it, send it to everybody, all the radio stations, everyone we know, name as many names that you know, expose as much as you can, make this an action-packed couple of hours, brother. Please, keep going. Just keep going. Divulge everything, because we'll get it out. We'll get it out, man. We will stop these people in their tracks, or be it consciousness will stop them in their tracks.
I can name the shooters. I can name the shooters in the Kennedy assassination if you want.
Okay, awesome. And if you could, one of the things about me is I'm all about crimes by commission or omission, and by omission, those that have refused to publish your book are actually guilty of the crime as well. So I'd be kind of curious to know what publishers you contacted that said no, so that all the listeners listening can decide whether or not they want to support these organizations, publishers, based on the fact that they won't publish a book that needs to be published. So I mean, that's just another angle for me. That's naming names as well, and that way people are surfing around on Amazon.com looking for a good book, and they see the publisher, and they can decide whether they want to support a publishing company that denies people like you the opportunity to get the truth out. So that's just one more angle, if you could share that as well.
With this publishing thing, I understood on a very, very early stage that either if I wanted to make a difference and really try and find out what had happened, either I had to get the spotlight on me big time, or keep a very, very low profile, because I saw very early how people were being destroyed. So I chose the low profile thing. So I've been in so many places, and also top secret places, not being seen. I've just been in the background type of thing. And so when it came to publishing the book, since I know what it contains, and it's been described as a bomb of truth, so I knew what I was having in my hand, you know, also because these two friends I had died because of what's in it. Because this is not just me finding out stuff, but I've collected from a lot of people who's been very dedicated in discovering what happened. So it's their work as well. So
yep.
I have been very, very, very nervous to approach publishers, also because when you see how the Freemasonic network works and how different book companies are connected as well to the elite, I haven't known who to trust, and I've been very sort of so I haven't approached very many. From time to time I tried and got it rejected, and I know Michael Moore's agent had it, and he gave it back, and he said, like, if you publish this, you're going to be sued from here to the moon. No one is going to dare to take it on, you know. So,
yep.
So I really don't want to name any publishers because I haven't tried. I've tried, but been rejected right away. It's been Swedish publisher. I tried abroad as well. There was somebody in Berlin who wanted to print it, but it was too many pages, too thick, and so on. Anyway, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, had too much detail in it. Yeah. Just while we're on that subject as well, the same is also there for patent attorneys as well. If somebody's trying to come out with a new an invention for free energy or something like that, then you pass that to the patent system and it goes straight to the people that want to suppress the technology. But it's not just, again, we see the same pattern underneath, over, you know, as above, so below. So just that, you know, for the listener.
Yeah.
But yeah, you know, we've got to get this information out there. It doesn't matter whether they're watching. I mean, hello everybody. Still going to get the information out. So bring it on.
Yeah, go for it, Ole. Go public as much as you can, brother. Now's the day.
Yeah, I've been doing. In 2009, I went live on a local radio station here in southern Spain, and it was. I would say without bragging that it was groundbreaking, because I don't think there was any radio station at that time that was doing what we did. I was invited as a conspiracy expert, and we really I went straight to it. You know, we named the Bilderberg groups with members, and we talked about chemtrails. We got David Icke, Alex Jones, Bob Bowman, General Bob Bowman. We got Dr. Leonard Horowitz about the vaccines and the swine flu scam, all of that on. So, but that was a time where it was a lot more scary than now for me, also because they hit back in the end. You know, like if you push too hard, they will hit back. But now with the internet being more and more powerful and faster, they can't really pinpoint you. Or it doesn't matter. That's why when I put my book out for free download, I just got it spread within a few hours. Boom! It was just all over the globe, and which took a lot of pressure away from me. So I've been feeling really happy lately.
Well, typically, Ole, we have anywhere from ranges from 30 to 130,000 listeners typically on a show. So you're getting the word out to a lot of people right now. Is there a place where people can go to get this book?
No, it's not published, but they can download it for free. It's myname.com. It's OLE, like Ole, and then DAMME. That's D, Denmark, America, Morocco, E for England, G for Greece, A for Andorra, R for Romania, D for Denmark. So it's OLEDAMMEGARD.com. On that site there, it's my personal website, and on that that's where you can download the book for free in Swedish and English. And if you would like there's also a donation button, which would be extremely appreciated.
Absolutely, and that's one of the things that we do like to make sure that we're supporting those that are getting the word out.
Thank you.
We're all in the same boat.
The thing is, it's been a very lonely road to
walk,
go
my friend,
for many years. So,
anyway. And I got to tell you, even with the amount of people that I'm running into and all the rest of it, this has got to be the loneliest I've ever been in my life. And so we get it, So anything when people, if you guys download it, keeping in mind if it's a book that you'd get in the store, you'd probably spend anywhere from $20 to $40 on a hardback, maybe 10 or so on a paperback copy. Or
if anyone knows anyone who would have the guts to publish it, I would be so happy.
Have you tried companies like Lilith and stuff like this, self-publishing, Lila or?
But the thing is, self-publishing, that is really, I published another book I've written about a bicycle trip I made and ended up in Iran during the war, helped some people out there. That's on the website as well. It's called Shadow of Tears. But to self-publish, especially on a subject like this, you won't get anywhere. I've seen other people do the same in Sweden. They published books where they really found out stuff, and because the media is so controlled in Sweden, there's no reviews. It's just silence, and you might as well not do it. I decided right away I'm not gonna take the risk of being sued, like they said, from here to the moon, or being harassed, or I mean, like I said, I've even seen people get killed, so it's not a very nice scene to get into.
So what you're saying is Oprah Winfrey's not going to have you on her Book of the Week club. Okay. Just had a note here from the lad. Thank you, Jason. Ask Richard Dolan's publisher. He owns Keyhole Publishing. So there's a lead. If you haven't tried it, you might want to give that a try. And just make the wish. It'll come true.
Keyhole Publishing.
Yeah.
Keyhole.
Right. I'm writing it down.
And,
put it this way. If you do make a wish, it will come true, because you've got the whole universe supporting you now. There's a scripture that proves it and is fulfilling itself right before our eyes, where it says, "Not a thing done in darkness shall not be uncovered in that day." Nothing. There is nothing that has ever been done to us in harm shall be uncovered forever. It will be exposed. Every single thing done in secret, the scriptures say. Everything done in secret will be exposed. We will know all things. It's not worth it for them to do these deeds of bloodshed. It's not worth it for them to continue.
No.
It may have been worth it back then because it satisfied their lust, but they can't even do that anymore. There's too much exposure. It's finished.
Yeah.
It's all over.
Yeah. It is. But, sometimes I feel really sorry for these people as well, because when you look upon what they've done to live with their what do you call it? Conscious. No, what do you call it when you feel...
conscience.
Yeah.
You're Jiminy Cricket.
And also to be surrounded it must be to be like swimming in shark water, being surrounded by other sharks. So you can't trust anyone, and they, the way they deal with people. If they don't need you anymore, they dispose of you. That's how they solve problems. They get rid of you in a violent way often, and it must be an awful life to live. Especially now when it's getting more and more exposed. So I feel sorry for these guys.
Okay, here's a good question for you, Ole. Is it predominantly run by the Jesuits? Is it the Knights of Malta? Is it Mossad? Who's really on the top the very, very top that everybody obeys? Is it the Superior General of the Jesuits? Fill us in on your thoughts there, please.
I'm not the right guy to answer that. I've been more studying sort of on street level, because it gets to such heights, in the pyramid, that I just have to rely on what other people tell me, and I don't know. I really don't know.
All right. Well, look, for the benefit of the listeners, just briefly, from what I've accumulated, the Jesuits are, if not at the very, 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 very top, they are in the top echelon of running the whole thing. They, in their parishes, they're the ones that run the parishes that answer to the Superior General Rodolfo at the moment, Nicholas Rodolfo. Those guys call the shots. They organise the hitmen and everything like that. And of course, their favourite hitman would be Mossad. They would prefer to deal with them because those guys, they're really, really dangerous. They are really, really dangerous. If you think the CIA are capable of evil, add just another dimension to the CIA, and you got the Mossad.
Can I just say, I think on a lower level, these like CIA, Mossad, BOSS, the Swedish SÄPO, and so on, they separate. But when you get up in the pyramid, they join together. So there's really no difference between MI6 or Mossad or CIA. They work hand in hand.
Yeah.
That's why when you talk about 9/11, you say, oh, is it CIA or is it Mossad? And the answer is yes. It's like with the Kennedy assassination. Oh, was it the Secret Service? Oh, was it the Cubans? Oh, was it the Mafia? Oh, was it CIA? And the answer is yes. It's not one or the other. They were all in it.
Yeah. I mean, the actual orders come down from the top. They don't go from the bottom to the top. They come down from the top.
Yeah.
It's just a case of backtracking.
I was just going to get your thoughts on this, having not read your book, and will. But one of the things that has been unveiled through the Zapruder, of course, that's been doctored with and what have you. But the synopsis and breakdown that I find most plausible is the one where Jackie O was under influence of MK Ultra, call it Manchurian Candidate mind control, where it was actually her that pulled the trigger that blew Jack's head off.
Are you kidding me?
No. There's some really good footage showing marks on the ground where once the first shot rang out, that was Jackie's cue to turn and shoot her husband, not knowing she was doing it, under mind control. And then you can actually see her throwing the gun to a predetermined mark on the grass with two people who were running towards that mark to pick up the gun.
If you don't mind me saying so, I would call that absolute bullshit.
Okay, that's fine. That's just another thing that I've come across. And
I'm sorry.
Possible.
It's absolutely not. I spent thousands and thousands and thousands of hours looking into this. I can, if you want to, I can. If I name the people that as far as I know was involved.
Sure.
In the Doltex building, the building next to the school book depository, the shooter there was a hitman from the Chicago Mafia, Chucky Nicoletti. The radio operator there, his name was Jim Braden. He was also connected to the Mafia. Then on the 6th floor in the school book depository, you had Euladio del Valle, who was a Cuban, exiled Cuban. He used to be very high up in the Cuban government before the Castro's overtake. He was together with another shooter up there, was Richard Kane from the Chicago Mafia as well. And then they had a black guy, a Cuban as well. His name was Herminio Diaz Garcia. Okay, then if you go down, you had let me see, boom, 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 boom. There you had Frank Sturgis, also called Fiorini. He was standing next to a white Chevy behind the wall. That was he was shooting from there. Then if you continue, you had the guy in the black police uniform. He was from the Marseille mob, and his name was Laurent Sart. Oh, come on. I get black out when I'm live on radio.
No worries, no worries.
I can say you're doing really well.
And then behind the tree, up on the tree behind the fence, his name was James Files. He's still alive and has been talking openly about that. And then next to the curb, the pedestrian curb, there's you can lift one of these lids going down to the water system. And down there was, as far as I know, a Dallas police officer called Roscoe White, a sniper. He was also later involved in the Tippit killing. So these, there might have been also on top of the building, the jail, and that was a sheriff called Bill Decker. If he's up there, he bragged about being up there, and there's some marks in the pavement where if you check the angles, it goes straight up to that roof up there. So these are the people that did the actual shooting, according to what I've been able to find out. But at the same time, the Secret Service was very much involved as well, being pulled back. I mean, everything was prepared for this escape, or this what do you call it, the lamb you sacrifice. That is also what always happens, that the bodyguards are being pulled away, and the guy who's just like Julius Caesar, he just walks straight into the trap and gets slaughtered. So, but I'm just pointing out names with the shooters, because I mean, like, you know, it's the JFK conspiracy. It's such a complex conspiracy. Made like that as well, because with these big operations, they often have 4 or 5 operations going on at the same time on the same place, not being aware of each other, which makes it so difficult for someone like myself to try and sort it out, because it's just pointing everywhere. It's, you know, like with 9/11, you had these exercises where they were London as well, with the London bombings. You had exercises at the same time, doing exactly the same as the actual hit, making it totally confusing.
Yeah. It's another. It was thermite. It was planes. It was Muslims. It was CNC. You know, it was TNT. It was, you know, mini nukes. It was this. It was that. It was. You know, it just confuses the life out of anybody who tries to look at it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Then you got Martin Luther King. The shooter was, his name was Earl Clark. He was a Memphis police officer, a sniper. But he was not the only one there. There was also an army team from the 111th Army Division, the Green Berets. They were up on a rooftop to the left of the balcony, about 200 meters away. Very often they've got more than one team that are in place, because if one failed, then the other one would take them out. And who we got in? We got Jose Perdomo with John Lennon. We have Bob Marley. He was. Do you know that Bill Colby, William Colby, who was the former chief of the CIA?
Yeah.
Who is, when you look at his history, oh my God, I mean, what that man has not been into when it comes to horrible, evil things. And he's very involved in Sweden with the Stay Behind build-up. He was the one who did that, and also together with Olof Palme, because Olof Palme was a very two-faced, or at least two-faced politician. Where were I? Lost it now.
There's loads of them.
There's loads of them. Yeah. Anyway, but his son was actually that they were doing a documentary film about Bob Marley, and it was William Colby's son, Peter Colby, who did the documentary, and Bob Marley was given a gift from him, a pair of cowboy boots, and when he put it on, he stuck his big toe. There was something there was like a little nail inside the boot, and that was exactly the big toe that he later got the cancer. I mean, have you heard about anyone with a cancer in his toe? But that was what Bob Marley died from.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have Jimi Hendrix, but I don't know the names of these guys. But he was drowned in alcohol. He was holed down, and they drowned him with red wine. Then we got.
Can I ask why they went after Hendrix?
Well, you always have the problem. It's the same with John Lennon, Bob Marley, Peter Tosh, and Jimi Hendrix. These people were peaceful people, against war, and idols that people were listening to. So when they said, "Sod this, I'm not going to Vietnam," they had a massive problem.
Absolutely.
And also, I mean, this group we're talking about, they're not very, very fond of black people or any kind of race, different races than the white race. So anything that comes up and are really powerful, they've been trying to push it down for decades.
Yeah.
Hey, all right, we have a caller. Did you want to take any calls?
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, I'll bring this caller in. I'm not sure if they're just listening or calling in to ask a question or comment. So I will, area code 77423. Questions or comments?
Yes, totally a caller. Wonderful show, man. Oh, this is amazing. Just when you think you know it all, and it just blows you out of the water. Wonderful show, Ole. Is it? I'm sorry. Okay, Ole. I was wondering, you mentioned Leonard Horowitz, Dr. Leonard Horowitz's work. If I'm thinking about the same gentleman, he's the one who did 528 hertz, like the solfeggio frequency thing.
Yeah.
If you could just touch base on him a little bit. Is he fraudulent in his work, or is it pretty genuine? And I was also wondering about, you guys mentioned it, Oprah. And I'm wondering if there's like a new age, deception that's underneath that's trying to penetrate.
I can say when it comes to Leonard Horowitz, I deeply respect him. I think what he's doing is absolutely amazing. I also think he's been extremely brave in his exposure of the HIV and the creation of AIDS, where he's confronted Robert Gallo, the guy who officially discovered AIDS, but was actually part of creating it.
Yep.
And
he actually put his signature in there, didn't he?
Yeah, it's awful. It really is so horrible when you look into these things. But I totally respect Leonard Horowitz, that's for sure. When it comes to Oprah, I think she's done a lot of absolutely amazing things when it comes to lifting humanity. And at the same time, I've heard, and a lot of people are saying that there are other things going on behind the scenes, but I don't know. I have no idea. I think she's done a lot of really, really good stuff.
Yeah,
I agree, absolutely.
Yeah.
With Leonard, it's fantastic because that's how I really kind of started all this. I followed my own joy, sound, and I followed the solfeggio frequencies, and I actually used them as a daily meditation, and it actually opened my eyes, physically and spiritually. It actually opened me up, and I experienced some amazing things. So I'm glad that he wasn't fraudulent in his work. I've been really just working with solfeggio tones, and it's been amazing. It's been transformational. And I guess that's it. Thank you for taking my call.
No, please, before you disappear, can I recommend? I've got a beautiful friend in Sweden. Her name is Malou Berg. It's Malou, Malou, and Berg, Berg. She makes amazing music, and she has one album. It's called Alignment, and that is all of it is built on that scale that you're talking about. So look her up. It's really worthwhile.
Oh, it seems like the stars aligned. I appreciate it. Thank you, Ole. I will check that out.
Her website is, let me see, malou.se. That's malou.se.
Cool.
F as in Frank, E as in Eleanor.
No, S as in Spain.
Yeah. S as in Stan. Thank you.
Spain and E. That's for Sweden. .se. So it's malou.se.
Malou.spiritualentity.
Malou.se. Not spiritual. Malou.se.
Yeah. It's all good.
It's supposed to be a simple website or URL.
We were just using the old metaphor, spiritual entity, SE.
Okay,
right? So,
okay.
Yeah, it's all good. Hey, caller, thank you. Do you have a name, or you just go by the name caller?
Oh yes, this is Jeremiah. I've called
Jeremiah.
Wonderful work. Oh, I'm loving it. I'm loving it, guys. It's fantastic.
Well, Jeremiah, thank you for the call, my friend, and I'll put you back on hold. And if you have anything else, just go into the Freedom Reigns chat room and stick your hand up in there. Okay?
All right, will do. Thank you.
Thanks, Jeremiah. Have a great night.
Awesome.
You too.
Okay.
Just on that note as well, what I wanted to mention was that there is undercurrents of, satanic forces involved in Hollywood, involved in the music industry.
Yeah.
Involved in these top echelons of, the stars and the TVs. In other words, there's a lot of it there. I mean, you only need to go and have a look, and you'll see it's all over the place. The amount of stars that are on the TV that have turned around and says, I sold my soul to devil in return for fame, money, and fortune.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, they tell you themselves. Look up the first family of Satanism. This is Anton LaVey's family. Just type it into YouTube. You'll get a shock of your life. But they're telling you there what they're going to do and what they're going to do, because unless people are watching, they've fulfilled their requirements in warning people before that they've actually done it. So if we let them get away with it, it's our own fault because we acquiesce.
Yeah, it's
the mentality behind these people, I don't understand at all. It's, in my opinion, really, really sick. Very, very sick. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know who it was of you who said that it totally lack of light. There's no light there at all. It's just darkness.
Yeah, they're possessed. They're meant to be. This is the point. They've allowed themselves to be.
They are, and they appeal so much to the children. And I find it disgusting, first of all, that if you've ever seen any of these commercials, now that's what I call music, but it's the children, Kids Rock, Kids Bop, that's what it's called, Kids Bop, and they take these songs and they have children sing them again, and my children, my niece, I mean, it's really hard to keep them. I try to keep classical music and meditation music playing around and try to encourage my kids to listen to that over listening to the radio and what you hear. All these kids, it's really it's disgusting to me because number one, it's played in the hertz that is damaging to your body, and it is also another form of mind control. And I'm sorry. I have young kids, and I know a lot of people out there do, and they're walking around singing these songs and mesmerized by these very sexually explicit videos, and really they're actually aiming for your kids.
No, it's very designed. It's highly designed to get people hooked.
Yeah, totally.
But this is not a group who they don't want us any good. They are totally on the contrary.
Yeah. They want us all brain dead, basically, which is hence the fluoride, chemtrails, poisons, GMOs, you know, pills,
some of them want more than our brain dead.
Yeah,
we need to pity these entities, guys, because they are controlled by darker forces than themselves. You know, this solar system has suffered under the control of the Archons for a long time now, at least for 2,500 years in a very, very powerful way. And the Archons, you know, they're bloodthirsty, they're vicious, they hate the truth. They really, really hate the truth. I recommend you read the book by Thomas H. Burgoyne, The Light of Egypt, Volume 1 and Volume 2. But in Volume 1, there's a chapter there called The Dark Satellite. And in occult science, it has always been known to be the orb from which comes all the evil that we experience in this solar system. And it happens to be the seventh chakra, one of the 7 chakras of the earth, which corresponds to the animal souls. And there the earth is nurturing the animal souls in between incarnations, you see. And so, and most of those souls, as explained by Burgoyne, are humans that didn't cut the grade to ascend, and so were being sent back and sent back and sent back. And so he explained that the dark satellite is at perihelion for 2,000 years during the age of Pisces, during the Iron Age, etc. But now it is going to apohelion, which means it's receding, and it has been receding since 1881. And so this is the residual, this is the last stand of this dark force on the earth. And right now it is desperate because its carcass that it feeds on, you know, sleeping humanity, is waking up. It also is receding, so it's disappearing as well. So from two polar points, you know, from two polarizations, this creature this Goliath is destroyed. So nature is taking its course. It is being vanquished. The Archons are being vanquished as we speak. The dark satellite is receding as we speak. Aquarius is here now, the age of light and illumination, and things are changing.
Big time.
Woo. And can I just say hallelujah?
Do you know I'm really into yoga, not body yoga. I'm stiff like a log, but Raja Yoga, the science of the mind. And there's a beautiful prayer that I really love, and it goes like, may the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. May everyone, and especially the one who hurt us, be filled with peace and joy, love and light. Victory to that light. And I really feel that, you know, we live in a universe of duality. You need left to see right, you need high to see low, you need evil to be able to see good. But it's coming to a point where we don't need the duality anymore, that we're coming together. And so this dark force has been necessary for us to be able to have something to, how shall I say, to be able to understand the light. We've had to see this very dark force, and the light has become, the darker it's become as well. It's like these two are racing, but the light is so much stronger, so there is no real competition because the light will win big time, and it's very close now. I think I'm super optimistic.
Yeah, absolutely.
We too.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, we needed to learn from the negativity. That's what it was.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all on the same page on that one. This tsunami, and we're talking about this with some friends this afternoon. This tsunami, this dam of truth is filled beyond full, and it's well, we were talking about needing some dynamite, but I don't think that's gonna be necessary to blow the dam. The dam is gonna blow itself, and it's coming real quick.
It's self-destructing. It's destructing from inside.
Yeah, well, that's the whole thing about evil. Evil, by definition, must destroy itself, because evil is all about destruction. So, have at her.
Yeah. And if you look around, like these assassinations, and if we go back to that as well, there's so many people getting killed by their own people, you know, around these lies and stuff. It self-destructs from the inside. It's the same pattern.
Yeah. Totally. And like you said, they're actually turning on themselves now because, you know, there's that many people standing up and telling the truth. They can't take everybody out. They haven't got enough manpower.
No.
So what they're doing, they're concentrating on each other at the top, and it's like dog for dog, isn't it? Dog eat dog. Just to see who can survive the longest.
Yeah. That is why the internet is such an amazing thing, because they can't stop it anymore. They were the one who invented it, and now it's just biting them from behind. Because when I started with this, before the internet came around, if you knew something, they could just take you out, and that was it, you know, lid on, like they've done with so many other people or inventors or whatever. You get that person, you take that one person out, boom, and the lid is on. But now it's just boom, it's spreading out so fast, whatever it is, boom, it's out there. They can't control it anymore. They're trying to, but it's just moving too fast.
Exactly.
So it's exciting times we're living in.
Yeah, you remember what Leo Tolstoy said? He said, government is an association of men who do violence to the rest of us.
It's like, what do we need them for? My God.
How did they impose themselves on us like this? We have been... We must have put diapers on ourselves at some stage in our evolution and said, yes, okay, big brother.
Yes.
You come along and change our diapers, and you feed us and give us circuses and everything we need.
It's our responsibility. We need to take responsibility for what we're creating in our lives. And it's enough is enough now. Stop the madness. Let the light in. That's what I say.
Yeah. This is like Kate. I mean, Kate, you've been talking about we're going to start creating our own future instead of letting these bastards create it for us. And I mean, that's basically what it is.
Well, I was going to say we're dealing with the pre-sent future, which is, you know, pre-sent into this past moment that we're living. So it only makes sense that you have two paths, pick your breadcrumbs, instead of having someone pick them for you. And again, it all boils down to the choice. If you have fear, well, we know the road you're on. And if you have love, well, you'll find us there. Bottom line.
If I can say, I just think it's really important to study history as well, because if you look at like revolutions and stuff like that, and you've had a dictator who's been really violent and horrible and stuff, then when he gets overthrown, the people who overthrow him, very often after a while when they get to power, become even worse. And I think it's very important for us to, in this time of a shift, to not fill our hearts with anger or revenge or violence like they do, that they thrive on, but instead it's forgiveness and love. That's the way to go. You know, just like the Truth and Reconciliation Committee in South Africa, to go that way.
Yeah.
This is my personal opinion, because otherwise it can get very, very ugly if we want to get back in the same way as they've been doing to us.
Well, I don't think that can happen this time. They might try it, but I mean, like we say, consciousness level is too high. We're not going to fall back into that trap. We can't. It's all the way out to the light now, you know. But as you say, we do need to be aware of history and be conscious of it, you know.
Yeah, and take responsibility of our own actions.
Totally.
Yeah.
You want to jump in there, Santa, or Kate, Cindy?
Yeah, I did, and then you. You guys, I did have a thought, and it's a good one, and I'll remember it in a tick.
You know, I can name some more names if you want.
Yes, I would love that. That sounds like awesome.
You know, there's a reward for 50 million Swedish kronor for what I'm going to say now.
Oh.
At least that's the official version. I mean, there's this reward put out there, so it looks like they're really looking, they're really trying to find out the truth. The truth is that they are involved in it, and there are no money. So it's just like a... Anyway, there were three getaway cars. I don't know if you're interested in the Swedish drama, but it's the biggest murder hunt in the history of the world. You know, as far as I know, including because it's still ongoing, the investigation. So there were three escape cars. One white Volvo 242 that was driven by a Norwegian mercenary called Ole Christian Olstad. As far as I know, he was murdered later on by his own guys. We had in that car as well was the Italian Stefano della Chiai, who was he was called like I said, the Baron of Terror. He educated hundreds and hundreds of these what do you call it, ghost soldiers who carried out a lot of the terror attacks that have been going on here in Europe, in Bologna, and they blew up people everywhere. The Brabant gang were them. He was also he used to work with Otto Scarsini, that was the lifeguard of Adolf Hitler, and also one of the butchers of he was one of the guys who killed Nikola Tesla, together with Reinhard Gehlen, who is also the guy who was part of building up the Stay Behind movement in Sweden and all the different NATO countries. I mean, Sweden is officially neutral to this day, but it hasn't been for so long. It's been connected to the NATO, but in anyway, with the KI, then we have a West German guy called Franz Esser. He was the driver of a blue Volkswagen Passat. I don't know what that name is in English, Passat or something like that. He was the guy who picked up the shooter after he had shot the Prime Minister. He was later killed or he was murdered in a traffic accident in South Africa. Then we had a West German South African agent. Franz Esser was working for BOSS as well, the South African secret police. Then we have another West German guy who his name was Heine Hümann, and he was one of the walkie-talkie guys around the assassination site. There was another Swedish right-wing policeman. He was another of the There was about 100 walkie-talkie observations around the site, where all of the witnesses, none of them have been taken seriously. All of them has been disregarded. 100. I mean, you see the type of investigation. Anyway, his name is Thomas Pilz. He was a right-wing Nazi policeman from the Norrmalm police station in central Stockholm. Then we have his partner. He's the so-called Grand Man, because he was standing outside the cinema the Grand Cinema, where the Prime Minister and his wife went in to see the last film. He was actually shot. The Prime Minister was shot when they walked home after the cinema. Then we have, let me see here. Then we have the shooter himself. I'm going to get back to him. But before that, we have the so-called Dekorima man. He was the guy who was standing. He's the guy that everybody thinks shot the prime minister, because he was standing waiting in a street corner, and he was observed by quite a few people standing there. And he had a walkie-talkie under one arm and a revolver under the other one. But there were two women that came up to him and recognized him and asked what time it was. This was just the minutes before the actual shooting. So after, when he was recognized, they swapped place. He swapped place with the shooter, and his name is Antti Avsan. Today he's a politician. He's on TV from time to time. It's really sort of like you can't believe it. He's sitting in TV studios talking about the violence among youth, and really double hypocrite type of person. And then we have Craig Williamson. He was the so-called super spy. He was a South African colonel who he came to Sweden as he tricked the Swedish government to think that he was a refugee from South Africa, that he had been tortured, and so because he was working for the ANC, the liberation movement for the black population, but he was actually working for the South African secret police. He managed to get to Stockholm and work his way up in the Swedish government as an advisor. So he was actually writing speeches for the top politicians in Sweden, being a South African agent at the same time. Anyway, just before he was discovered, he managed to escape, and it was a massive scandal. But the reason why he was picked to lead this whole operation was because he knew Stockholm so good. He knew the politicians, he knew the government, he knew everything. So that's why the order of assassination was given to him. So it was actually, the team was put together outside Johannesburg on a little farm outside. It's called Daisy Farm, and it was like the headquarters for a very, very violent, they call it security police, South African. They, in this basement, they used to torture and kill people all the time, and their job was to eliminate enemies to the South African government, and they saw Olof Palme as a major enemy because he was supporting the ANC. But anyway, that was not why the order did not come. He was just the one who was put to organize the whole thing. So he picked two guys of his agents, one called Anthony White. He's a Rhodesian mercenary. He was in Stockholm that evening. He was taking care of the logistic with cars and weapons and that. And then another guy called Rian Stander, who was one of the walkie-talkie guys following the Prime Minister and his wife when they took the subway to the train station, to the cinema. Also very, very central in this assassination is a group called the Baseball Gang, which was a group of very, very violent right extremist policemen that worked at this Norrmalms police station in central Stockholm, which is the area where all the government buildings are, the castle, all of these are in that area. And these guys are also connected to Stay Behind. They were the ones who took care of people, cleaning up after with witnesses and all of these things. But at that time, the evening when he was shot, they took key positions everywhere. That evening, it's just a group of like 8 or 9 persons. But that evening, they jumped into all the key positions. One of them were driving the ambulance that was supposed to pick the dead Prime Minister up. One of them was sat in the commando, the communication central, so he could delay everything. When people were calling in saying somebody had been shot, he just delayed, and then the alert was sent out, but just to a few pinpointed police cars that was also occupied by members of this baseball gang. The shooter, who's actually here's the big thing. His real identity I don't know, but his code name for this operation was Abdul Qasem, and he's actually a Kurdish. He's got a Kurdish background. He was born in Kurdistan in Turkey, but was educated in Iran during the Shah, in the Shah military, and then he was very good and very focused as a soldier. So they started using him for eliminating people, and he also had a very religious, very strong, what do you call it, religious pathos. So, you know, he was a man of honor, the way he saw it. Anyway, he was the one that actually shot him, but not because he was Kurdish or anything like that. He was there as a hitman, part of the assassination. And in the book, I've got his 6 pages long letter where he describes the whole thing in big detail, because he was so upset that they were trying to blame it on someone else, and he was trying to help that guy. Anyway, have we forgotten? Anyway, yeah, the whole assassination was controlled from underneath a fire station that was just 100 meters from the assassination site. It's a very anonymous little fire station, but if you go in there, there's an elevator, and when you go down there, you can go down 6 stories down underground, and when you get to that level, I managed to get in there myself. You get to a tunnel system. It's below the level of where the subway level, the train are. It's below that, and there's about 400 miles of tunnels underneath Stockholm that people don't know. They don't know about them. And down there it's like a network of tunnels, so that people can, like all the elite people, so-called elite, you know, for the king and the politicians and the rich people, if the country would be invaded, they could go down in this system of tunnels, and then with small trains, and you can even drive trucks and stuff like that down there, could be taken out through these tunnels, and then on the way to Norway, and from Norway to London. That was the whole point with Stay Behind, to be prepared for an invasion from the east, as a sleeping ghost army that would be in place if that thing would happen, and this ghost army could just be activated right away, boom, like this. That was the whole idea with Stay Behind. Later it turned really weird, and it went into like a terror tool instead. But like I say, the operation was coordinated from that bunker down there with the help of Craig Williamson, and then there was one police car filled with technical equipment, also with the driver was from this baseball gang, and police chief that was in it was a right-wing policeman that was also involved in this. And that what that car was doing was that it was amplifying the signal to the walkie-talkies, depending on, because the buildings are quite high in central Stockholm, so depending on where the walkie-talkie men were positioned, the signal wouldn't go through. So this car was driving around, making sure that the signal was being received everywhere.
Yeah, booster.
Sorry?
Booster.
Yeah, booster.
Mm.
Anyway, I can go on and on and on, but...
Well, I'd love to ask a question. I know it's on the minds of lots of other people. How did you get down that tunnel?
It's not a tunnel. It's like an elevator going down there.
Mm.
How I managed to go down, it was like the way I discovered it was that at the night of the assassination, there was a journalist who was he had been to a bar, and he just came and put on the police radio when he was taking his car home, and suddenly he heard someone say, "How are you doing up there?" And the answer was, "It's freezing cold." and then just a few seconds later, the Prime Minister shot. That was the only thing he heard. And I've always wondered, how are you doing up there? The guy that asked that had to be below the level of the guy who answered. And also the guy said, bloody freezing. That sounded to me like he would be outside and the other guy might be indoors. So I was walking around the assassination site looking for things below, something underneath. And one day I used to take people who were really interested. I used to take them on an assassination tour, just showing what did the witnesses actually see, not the official version that we were being pumped with, that it was a lone crazy guy, a drug addict that just mistook him for his drug dealer and shot him by mistake. That's the official story to this day. But I went around and actually showed people what the witnesses had seen, and then once you start seeing the whole picture when you're there, it's like, oh my God, because it was a big operation with military precision. It was carried out beautifully, but the people, they knew that they would not be caught, so they were not afraid. So they were standing very openly with their walkie-talkies, and they weren't afraid of being taken. So because of that, they were observed by so many people. Anyway, one of these guys that I took on this tour, I didn't know it by then, but he was working for the military, some kind of secret level. I don't know what level. I think on a very shallow level or whatever you call it, maybe a radio operator or something like that. And we were standing there near the assassination site, and I was pointing at the ground. I said, I bet you there's something down there underneath here somewhere where they directed this whole thing from. And he said, do you know what you're pointing at? I said, I have no idea. And he said, you're pointing like 100 meters below here, there's a bunker that it's now, today it's used as the 911 central for the whole of Stockholm. And so he said, do you want to go down there? He said, you're not allowed to, but do you want to? I said, God, take me, please. But because he had clearance, we managed to get in the elevator, and he took me around down there. And the guy, I saw, there were lots of technical equipment and all of these things down there. And the chief that was working there, when he saw my friend, he didn't. He took for granted that I was one of them, So he didn't even ask for money or anything. And he took us on a tour of the place, and I thought, oh, hallelujah, this is amazing.
Brilliant.
Yeah. No, but it's almost like I've been guided. I felt from time to time that I was guided, because I bumped into witnesses that had never been heard by any investigation. I went to a party where a girl was crying. I went up and I started talking to her. It turned out that she knew things about the assassination that nobody else did. Things like that, coincidences.
It's not about coincidences, but yeah, carry on.
No, I don't believe in coincidences at all. My focus was I was so dedicated to this. I was just pulling these things in. And and that was also how I managed to track down, I tracked down one South African agent where he was the guy, Heine Hyman, who had a villa about 100 kilometers north of Stockholm, where they hid the shooter. They hid him for 3 days, and then afterwards he was taken out on with a diplomatic passport. But I managed to find his villa and track it down. He had disappeared before then and was hiding in Miami, Florida, where most of these agents, when they are about to be discovered or they retire, they go to. We're back to the Exile Cubans Center, where the whole thing around the Kennedy assassination took place. That's where they have special
Retirement?
Can you say, sorry?
Retirement?
Yeah, retirement areas, they're fenced in villa areas, it looks like a beautiful little villa, I don't know what to say, but part of the town, but it's actually for retired agents and people who need to take cover for a while, and that was the last thing I heard. He was there. But
wow, fascinating.
Well, that's I can carry on, but that's worth about 50 million.
Where do we collect?
Well,
a whole load of people want to collect.
Now you got to record it. Please go there and collect.
You got to download this, guys.
Maybe you can donate just a little to me.
That'd be nice, yeah. Yeah.
No, the whole thing is that this is the scary part, that the investigation are put there just to point all the other ways. They went that way, they went that way. Anything but pointing in towards the real truth, because the real truth is that they were involved in the whole thing. And the guy who was put in charge of the investigation was the former chief of the Swedish secret police, Hans Holmér, but also connected to Stay Behind. And do you know where Olof Palme was shot? He was shot exactly on the corner, right in front of an insurance company called Skandia. And Skandia is the former headquarters of Stay Behind, where Olof Palme was in many meetings because he was involved in Stay Behind as well.
Yeah, they like shutting up their own. Don't step out of line, and you pretty much nailed it. Mirror, mirror on the wall. You've got to look in every direction. That's why I choose to look at as many scenarios as I can when investigating anything. And there's going to be a lot of them that are plausible. And but yeah, you really have to find the breadcrumbs to get to the nitty gritty. And you'll do that only once you lose the fear. And that's one of the reasons why we like doing these shows, because we don't have any, so bring it on, bitch.
But don't be too big-headed. I tell you, it's
no. This is not about big-headed. What this is about is being so adamantly standing in the truth that you get different eyes, you become an untouchable, and this is about looking at the darkness and having suffered it long, as many of us have in many ways. This is not about arrogance. This is about certainty of knowledge, and this ball comes bouncing back. That's cosmic law, ebb and flow. So there is no arrogance here. Bring it on. The faster it comes on, the faster we can take it down. There's too many people suffering. That's where that comes from.
Yeah, there's a lot of unnecessary suffering, incredibly amount.
Well, that's going to change, and I did remember the thought that I was going to share. This is a very, very important point. I recently stumbled on an interview by David Wilcock interviewing Winston Shrout. Now, everyone in the law awakening movement know who Winston Shrout is, and they know that when Winston Shrout speaks, he is an honourable man. He is a truth speaker. He has taught many people about law and how to do procedures, like accept for value and things like that, and how to do commercial liens and everything like that. Now, a while ago we heard talk about mass arrests, and they didn't come to fruition on time, and a lot of people got depressed and discouraged and thought it was all a hoax. It's not a hoax. Mass arrests are coming. They are definitely coming. And if Winston Shrout is one of the men, as he claims he is, that is behind this, it will come to fruition. He knows what he's doing, and he will do what he says he is doing. There are mass arrests coming. And have a listen to the 2-hour interview, 1.5-hour interview by David Wilcock. Unfortunately, David Wilcock exposes his ignorance when it comes to law, so he was a little bit green.
Yeah,
he was but hats off to David. He is a truth seeker, and he was correct 5 or 6 months ago when he and Ben Fulford declared that there were going to be mass arrests and Drake and the like, and they were right on the money because they were in on Winston Shrout's procedures and what they're doing, and Winston promises us, he promises humanity that the arrests and the case against the Federal Reserve will come to fruition within days. You know, it's days away. It's only a matter of days now before the Federal Reserve System that has put the money behind all of the evil acts thus far, because of the the Warburg family, the Kuhn and Loeb, and the Rothschilds and the Morgans, hint, hint, the few families that run the show. What is about to happen is that they are going to be sued for the 4% payments that they were supposed to make since 1913 on all the gold that they borrowed off the citizens. They forgot to make those 4% payments, and those payments add up to a figure, I think, 4 times the amount of the world debt. So once Winston Shrout perfects his procedure, that money, 4 times the amount of world debt, returns to our pockets, returns to our energy source. And that's only days away, folks. No need to... rest assured that Winston Shrout is a man of his word, and the 2 guys that he's working with, I forget their names. Kate, can you help me?
One of them is Keith. I've been working with him for a while, and the other guy's name is Neil.
Beautiful. Hallelujah, folks. It's we are going to be rich on every level. Not that material riches concern us, but we know that if everybody's got a comfortable house and shelter and nice warm clothes, we know that if everybody, all those starving children around the planet, have those basic essentials, we know that we will be happier in turn. So, yes, bring on the material prosperity, because the spiritual is taking care of itself, and the light and the love is expanding. It's absolutely expanding. It's a beautiful phenomenon. It has been persecuted and suffocated by this group that Ole's talking about. It's the same group. It's one vicious group, and they are the foremost foot soldiers of the dark satellite. But the dark satellite's gone now. It's virtually gone. And so, what are they still doing? You know, I mean, it's time to give it up.
Absolutely. It's time for it to change, you know?
Yeah.
Bring in the golden age.
Amazing times.
Yes, it is.
Not going to get any arguments here, guys, you know.
No.
I'm waiting for some more information, to be honest. It's the first I've actually heard of this.
Yeah, there was a couple of points in there that didn't quite resonate with me in terms of Winston defending the system and what have you, and there was a couple of minor points, but the bottom line is this. You know, he made the point. I do want to bring this up because I definitely listened to it. And one of the things that Winston was talking about was that there's nothing wrong with the system. It's just it's done this and done that, whatever. See, that's where I would beg to differ, because
I would do so too.
Yeah, when you look back prior to 1913 and the prosperity that was occurring around the world as a result of not having the Fed Reserve and the single monetary, definitely they've been caught in their own web. There's no question there. But the bottom line is, we don't need money. Money is dualistic separation, and it creates a caste system. It creates those of the haves and those of the have-nots. And the sooner we eliminate that evil once and for all, the better. Once mankind grows up enough, that's still a ways off as far as I can see, but we're getting there. I would hazard to say that we would be 1,000-fold further ahead without the system with. So that was really the only. There was a couple other counterpoints, but there was some valuable information in there with regards to the bonds and the bonding, customs warehousing, and a few other locations as far as that key is concerned. And that's something else that I've talked about in the past as well, with regards to the invocation of the cross. That's how I was listening to it from that perspective. But yeah, absolutely, there are things shaken, and their days literally are numbered.
Sounds good to me.
Beautiful. Okay. Well, look, we've got about 10 minutes, guys, before this comes to a close. So, if anybody wants to do some rounds and ask some questions, go for it.
I can give you a few more names.
We've done some names. Tell you what, you write them down. We'll publish them for you.
No, I was just going to say, just I don't know, a fun little detail, but do you know the three tramps in Dealey Plaza? Do you know the photos of the three tramps?
I have no idea.
Yeah, okay, I remember that one. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, they're taken right after the shooting, and the police are taking them away, and they've been having very big problems identifying these people, because they weren't tramps. They were, clean nails and nice shoes, but they looked like tramps, and they were taken to the Dallas police station and then released right away with no notes made or anything. But the tall guy is actually Woody Harrelson's dad, Jack Harrelson, who is an assassin for the Chicago mob as well. But that's the small guy with the hat. His name was Chauncey Holt, and the first guy was a guy they called Frenchie, who later decapitated and killed his parents and put them in the freezer. Nice type of person.
I'm gonna say happy family, man.
Yeah, enough names.
Oh, hey, that's fine. We can keep this going on. We like picking on things like the Queen of England and stuff like that, and Benny Ratzinger, the Pope, and the rest of these murdering cabal members. But again, and it's to keep it tempered. It has to be kept tempered, in that without this darkness, we would never have found the light that we have found. So
exactly.
In that light, there has to be gratitude. That is the universal maxim. So thank you very much for being as dark as you are, for allowing me to see how bright that we all can shine. Well,
sometimes I call them the Black Angels, that they're actually souls that have taken on this horrible karma to help the rest of us.
Spot on, and in fact you are 100% correct. They have. So be thankful that the Pope has taken all the the liability for us. He's the one that's called himself the Vicar of Christ. He's going to take all the sins down with him. He's doing a good job of it. Be thankful that it's him and not you being such a dunce, looking like an idiot with that funny costume, raping little boys and and keeping half of humanity starving to death, and supporting the Orsini family and the Farnese family and the De Medici family, so that they can continue in their pedophile people trafficking. So he looks like a buffoon in my eyes. Popey Poos does nothing for me. He's gone in my mind. He's a funny looking character out of Bugs Bunny that once was.
Oh my God, he's evil. I mean, just when I see the pictures of the Pope, it's just pure evil that you're looking at, and you can almost see the fire coming out of his eyes.
Unbelievable.
Listen,
thank you so much for bringing this information to us.
You're welcome. Anytime.
Can you give us the name?
Could I just mention that on my website, I've written several books. There's one called Remind Me, change the chip. It's just a small, but I think like a power book, mentally how to change the way of thinking, the way I've been finding out. And then I have a book about, like I said, I went on a bicycle and ended up from Sweden and ended up in Iran during the war down there, and then helped some people out through former Soviet Union and East Germany up to Sweden, where they live now, and everybody happy. That's called Shadow of Tears. And then a children's book, and so if please, I would love to share them if people visit my website. So,
and the website is again your name.
My name again, OLEDAMMEGARD.com. You can also see if you go to the interview on Red Eyes Creations. If you click there underneath it, there's a link to the website.
Yeah, and they can also find you on Facebook, is that correct?
Yeah, of course. And can I just say thank you so much for inviting me. It's been a pleasure.
Anytime, and your website has already been plastered all over the net, so we've been busy getting it out to everyone. So
that's very kind. And listen, anything I can help with, or if you need me on anytime, just let me know. I'm right there.
That's great, Ole. Beautiful.
I'll have you, Ole. I will have you very soon. As I schedule you in, you'll be on one of my shows too.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, that's what you get for opening your mouth on radio. You get to meet a lot of other people that like to let you open your mouth too. So we're all about getting the word out there, and the faster the better. The more light we can share, the faster this House of Cards comes crashing down. Cornerstone is out, done, crushed.
That's it.
Yeah.
Bring a list of names next time.
Yeah, would you? Maybe drop one or two.
Yeah. I say it again. Peace and joy, love and light, and especially to the ones who hurt us. It's time to stop the madness.
Oh yeah, madness.
Ale, would you please repeat the prayer that you said earlier? I had a few listeners that wanted to hear that again.
May the entire universe be filled with peace and joy, love and light. And then, may the entire universe be filled with people, and especially the one who hurt us, with peace and joy, love and light. Something like that.
Okay. Thank you.
That works. That works. Now we got just a little over 2 minutes left here, so I'll do the necessaries as far as thank you Freedom Reigns and Blog Talk Radio. We have the voice here to get out there and bring wonderful people aboard. And of course to all the beautiful listeners that are proving that they're wide awake by tuning in right now. So a most humble gratitude for that. It gives our hearts hope and reason to flame. So thank you.
Thank you.
Tony.
Indeed.
Yeah.
Wow. I was just thinking about that prayer. That was gorgeous, wasn't it? Huh?
It is. It really resonates. Really.
I know, it was gorgeous.
Sorry, Ella.
No, I just feel deeply that that's the way to go. That forgiveness, hate is not the way to go. Violence is not the way to go. But forgiveness, even though it's really hard when so much pain has been caused. But look at South Africa, how they managed to, where former people who have been tortured they're now working side by side with the people who tortured them, and and becoming friends. And even though it's taking time, but it's moving up. It takes time to heal sometimes.
Absolutely. Well, this is it. You know, you don't get over it in 5 minutes, but we do need to work on it. You know. The harder things are, the longer they take to achieve, isn't it?
Yeah.
You know. It's incredible stuff, and I mean, you know, it's what we've all got to do. There's no point in creating more controversy.
No.
We've got to put an end to the controversy and start saying, right, you know, that stuff's not working anymore.
No.
Let's do it the other way.
Yeah. And people are good, you know.
Yeah.
As soon as you take away all the garbage and the brainwash and everything, people are beautiful.
Yeah. Well, this whole thing's built on lack, and that's the point.
Yeah.
If everybody had abundance, we wouldn't need the system the way it is.
Nope.
Exactly.
Well, thanks again, Ole. Awesome show.
Happy New Year. This is the year it's going to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Take care, guys.
Take care. Thank you very much. We're off the air. We just ran out of clock.
Cool. Beautiful show.
Yeah. Wonderful show. Thank you, Ole. That was amazing.
And don't forget, well, your contact information Santo has, so he can get you out on American Freedom Radio and others. And, yeah, the door's always open here, my friend, so feel free to walk in anytime. Don't be afraid to knock the door and go, hey! Okay, we're here.
Sounds good to me. Work both ways.
And you know where the show is now, so if you ever want to come and sort of like phone in and say, hey, it's me, then feel free.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Well, we should be able to book you in for Monday's Freedom Reigns, shouldn't we, Kate? I've got the Sunday, and the Monday, is that, whose day is that? I mean, Diatra gave me that.
It's kind of wide open, and I've kind of assumed that it was yours just to keep that space safe for.
Well, why don't we save it for the panel and just have the syncretism panel and get someone to schedule guys like Ole in, and we can do that now, can't we?
Yeah, it's already done. You're talking to the scheduler.
Yeah.
Okay, let's confirm that and get this stuff right out there. We're naming names.
Okay, it's confirmed. So I'll schedule it in for I guess the syncretism posse is what we're being called these days.
Yeah.
So we'll do the syncretism posse on Monday night, and we'll bring you back in, Ole, and let's have some more fun. Okay?
For sure.
Mm-hmm. Saddle up, boys and girls. Mm-hmm.
Saddle up.
Okay, and the good news is we've already announced it because it's on the recording. So when people get this, they'll know that you'll be back on Monday, January 14th, 2013. So we'll have you back on and be the same time again, Ole. So just put that one in pen, and we'll be talking to you in 3 days.
What day was that?
Monday.
Monday.
What time is it where you are right now? I have to assume it's about 3 a.m.
It's 3 a.m.
Yeah. I'm from Ireland. 5 hours, so I figure at least another hour or two to Sweden in terms of the clock. So, yeah.
I'm in Spain.
Oh, you're in Spain? Oh, that's right. You're still. Yeah, but you're still. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're still an hour over though. That's right too. Well, lucky guess on my part. How about that? Anyway, yeah. So it'll be the same time from 1 to 3 a.m. Your time. Will be, I guess, Tuesday morning for you.
This Monday, Tuesday.
Late Monday night, early Tuesday morning from 1 to 3 a.m. Same time. Our Monday night here, I'm in Eastern Standard, which is, we run from 7 to 9 p.m. And your time is 1 to 3 a.m.
Yeah.
So it'll be our Monday night, which is, technically still Monday night if you don't go to bed for you, from 1 to 3 a.m. Okay?
I do want to go to bed now, though.
Okay. Get your butt in bed.
Done a good job,
awesome
Mark.
job. And thank you all. You guys did an awesome job tonight. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Take care.
All right, everyone. Sweet dreams.
Bye, Cindy.
Have a wonderful day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Thanks. Yeah.
Bye-bye.
Everybody for tuning in to Freedom Reigns Blog Talk Radio. You've been listening to Cosmic Blueprints with your host, Tony Z, and the rest of the Syncretism crew. On behalf of all of us, I'd like to say thank you for tuning in and downloading this episode, because if you're hearing this, you did. Love to all. Have a great night.
Cheers, guys.